Hi guys, it's Paula, and I'm back today to show you the next album. You'll be seeing a flip through on the Sunflower album probably today. So, this is my next one that I'm doing, and it is also a fall album. I'm only going to do two, I believe, of the fall albums, unless I just have a lot of extra time. Anyway, it's just a beautiful cluster of leaves, and then I'm going to decorate the top today, or the front cover, but I want you to see the inside. I thought it turned out really nice. I did line this this fabric, because I just felt like it needed it. But I love the inside, where I used two different types of paper, and behind, across the binding, I used solid brown rather than using this. I just thought it would look better with the acorns and leaves. So that's the inside. Here's the outside. And the spine and the back. Now, I thought what we could do, and I'm going to open it up and have it lay flat so that it'll look better than it would if we won't have it tilting around, is I guess what I'm saying. Need to work this edging just a little bit right here. I just finished it last night, so it is good and ready to be done. Okay, let me just make sure I'm in camera frame. I am. Okay. So what I'm thinking for the cover is I'm not going to ink this one. I kind of wanted it to do it a little bit different. Now the items inside will be inked, but the cover itself will not be inked. I had this piece of fabric that was left over from doing the brown underneath the spine, and I just folded it over. I don't know if you can tell. See, it's just folded over, doesn't go all the way to the end, and I just zigzagged. I know it's probably kind of hard because it's brown on brown, but I thought I would put that on here as the base, and I kind of thought I might work to the left a little more than to the right in case I want to do a closure, but not sure yet. And I have this picture of just beautiful autumn park or trail or road to someone's home. And it says, take time to do what makes your soul happy. I like that because that's what we all need to do, is something that makes our soul happy. And so I wanted to put that on the front because I just thought that's so beautiful. And it's on cardstock, so it makes it a little heavier. And so I don't know, I'm thinking, that looks plain by itself, right? So I thought, well, maybe I can, and I've inked everything today. I was thinking maybe I could put this autumn color red check in the background, and that would kind of make that picture pop a little. And I thought about it and thought about it, and you know, it needed something more in the background. I felt like the brown just kind of blended. So I got some burlap. And mind you, all of this is scraps except for the picture, because I just kind of got in my scrap pile and just kind of looked at colors that might go. And I think if we put the burlap underneath this brown, it will pop off the page a little more. What do you think? I think it does. And so, and then kind of maybe have this to the right a little bit. Center, center, and then to the right. Not a whole lot, just enough. Okay, and now this is looped over, and you know, it's kind of got a little puffiness to it here, and then the zigzag. I looked at that and I still thought something is missing. So I kind of wanted to do yellows and reds and maybe even some green. This kind of dark brown, which we have here. And here's the green and green. And the yellow, yellow, yellow. And here's some red and red. And kind of an orangey red. So I thought, well, it needs some green. And I have this green leaf scrap left over from my sunflower book. And I thought, I don't like that seam really. So I thought maybe it would look better if I put a little bit of the green right here. Now, I didn't really want it to be like all the way across. Like I wanted the green under the red. I kind of want each color to pop off itself. And when I say that, I mean, I think I want this down a little, the burlap down just a little, and pull up the brown just a little. Now, I'm going to get it everywhere, and then it's going to be perfect, and then I'm not going to be able to decide what to do. I want that zigzag to show, and I want to stay within the front of the book. But I thought the green was too much, so I decided to add some muslin. Just like that. But I wanted the green to show, so I'm pulling it all the way to the right. And of course, I'll need to make sure everything's straight before I glue it down. And then bring this back. And bring it back into the left a little bit. You touch one thing and everything moves. And I wanted to leave room for a hitch post right here. So I'm trying to stay, you know, as close as I can to the... But I really wanted to bring in some more yellow. And I had some scraps over here of... I have a pile of scraps of different types of lace. So I thought about it, and I'm trying to figure out which side's which here. This is a little yellow lace. It's kind of an orangey yellow, but more like the fall leaf. And I think I want it to be on this brown underneath on the edge. So let me lift this up so you can see what I'm talking about. I think I would put it on right here and kind of let it hang over a little bit. Maybe. It depends on how the fraying is. I'll have to put some fray stop on there. But now I know you can't see it super well, but it's enough that it pops out and it says hello. Like, there's more yellow here. And so you want to keep the image all the way to the right, or to the left, down below the zigzag, but enough that you don't see the muslin and the green paper. So maybe to the edge of it. I like that because then the lace peeks out here and here. Now, we have red paper, yellow in the trees, and red ribbon, brown muslin, brown burlap, brown fabric, green background, and muslin. And now we have yellow, which is this yellow and this yellow. And we have green, and a little bit of green in the picture, and of course the green leaves. And the red represents the red in the leaves. But I felt like we needed a little something right up here. So I decided to add, don't fall over. Yes, I decided to add a little piece of rickrack. Now this is the red. This red is I'm going to cut that off, I think. This red is supposed to go with the red in the background. It is a little bit, I'm going to trim it off because I like it shorter. I first thought I might want it long, but I think it will look better just kind of being over there, doing its own little thing. And that way it looks good. Now, it's looking like fall. It's looking like leaves, but I felt like it needed a little more texture. So I have these really cool wooden leaves, and I thought, why not put some right over on this, because it was kind of just speaking to me about being there. And here is a brown leaf, because there's always brown leaves during fall. And then here's a different leaf. And I just kind of staggered them on there. So what do you think? You think that looks okay? I think I kind of like it. So I'm thinking we can glue it together. Now I'm going to carefully, I think what I'll do is just, to try to keep it as close to where I have it, is just scoot it to the left side and hopefully get it back like I had it on the right side. Okay, so the first things I needed to adhere down would be the burlap and the fabric. Now I want to make sure I'm over far enough that there's room for a hinge post, up far enough that we use this top 3/4 of the book and just kind of not use the lower section. Now I want to look and see if that's straight, and it looks straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to put glue on the upper flap, but on the lower flap on top of the muslin. Not muslin, but burlap. And I want them to, I want to do that so that if there's any bleed through on this brown fabric that's not lined and was just a scrap. All of this was just a scrap except the image and the wood veneers. Okay? All right, so we're going to, you know, it's your cover, so you want it to really stay down. So what I'm going to do is attach it to the burlap. And again, this is only going to be the top portion. Whoops, looks like I got it a little high. What else is new? That's just who I am. I got it a little high. It's so funny how you can place it there 100 times, but you're still gonna get it off a little bit. I used to, when I had my camera free, I would take pictures, so I know exactly where I put my items. So I'm holding the burlap down because I haven't glued it yet, and I'm going to move the fabric just slightly up. Now let's hold it up and look at it. Try not to push the top down because I don't want it to seep through the second layer of fabric. Yeah, so we want to concentrate on the back before we concentrate on the top. And so what I thought, and I left these strings, I kind of liked the way they looked. I think sometimes you can get too many strings, but I do like the way that turned out. I am going to put just a little bit of glue down here across this bottom. And I mean just splatters of glue, not a lot, just enough to keep it from flipping up. Because I don't want it, again, I don't want it to bleed through. Okay, so we have it in the right position. Let me look here. And so what we need to do is step out and do the burlap. Let's just do it. And so now you do want your burlap adhered very well because it is a heavier portion of your cover. You don't want it to come off. Plus it's going to be housing other things such as the other pieces and the wood veneer and the ribbon and so forth. So it's got a lot to, it's got to be the backbone of the cover. Now I'm going to stand up for a second so I can make sure I get this straight. Because if I don't, we'll have glue everywhere. Pull these little strings forward. And I want it to go to the left, but up. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, I'm going to sit down and look close up. I haven't pushed it down yet, but I want it to kind of come up straight so I can look at it. Yeah, see, it gave us that nice big side on the right. So I'm going to kind of push that down now and let it adhere to the cover. Something is shaking and making noises on my table. I hope it's not bothering you. Forgive me if it is. Okay, so those are ready. Or that's ready. Okay, now the next thing we need is to attach the muslin to the green. Now, you notice I have green here, and then I pretty much have the muslin just attached all the way to the right. And it's kind of got this wrinkle here, but I like the texture. I like this side because I inked it onto this matte of sorts. Now, I'm going to add some glue to the back of the muslin, and then we'll attach it. Now, I'm not going to go crazy because you know me, I like that texture of dimension, so I don't want everything to look plastered down. Just like I'll do around the outside, but leave a little bit of the edges not glued so that they can kind of flip up if they want to, which is fine. Okay, now I'm going to do this to the side a little bit so we don't get it on our cover. I'm going to kind of, and remember we're going to go to the lower right, and so there we go. I'm going to pull it down as far as I can, over as far as I can, and now you can see the glue through it right now. It hasn't dried, but that's going to be fine. That's the only thing I get really frustrated with Fabri-Fix and Fabri-Tac, because it does exactly that. It will bleed through even though it's made for fabric. And I know if you put too much, that happens. But sometimes, I really didn't do it heavy, but it still kind of showed through, see? If that becomes a problem, we'll just replace something. Okay, so now we know that this is barely going to cover this seam on this top portion. And it's going to go more to the left than it will to the right. And we still have this nice zigzag up here. So, let me see. Whoops, excuse me. Let me see what our mat's going to look like. Because I want it to not cover the zigzag. See, that doesn't give us a lot of room for our hitch post, but I'm going to make it work. Okay, so there. That's the next step. Let's go ahead and glue the image onto the paper and then give that muslin a minute or two to dry. Now, this is a different situation. I do want my corners to have glue so they don't get flipped up and bent. I always think about the things that could happen. I was kind of like that as a mother. I'd always think of, oh my gosh, if I let them go out in the yard, they'll end up in the street, or, you know, I always tried to think about what could happen because of the results of one thing. But you have to let that go as you get older. Now I do it with my grandchildren. Not really. No, I don't have to worry about them. Mom and Dad take really good care of them. All 5 of them are taken care of well. It's a really nice feeling to know that you don't have to worry about your grandchildren, that they have really good parents. Okay, so I centered that as best I could. Let's make sure. Yes, it is centered. Okay, so just kind of rub each corner around and we'll make sure it's all flattened out underneath. Okay, now we're going to glue this matted muslin down and let it get all settled in. And we'll put this is not going to be super long tutorial, because doing the cover I kind of had in mind before I ever even you know, got the book put together. I had this image of fall trees, and my favorite color in the fall on the trees is the golden yellow. And with just a little bit of a mixture of the green, and this was perfect. Barely going to cover that. Whoops, wrong direction. Don't want to do that. Okay. All right, let's make sure that's straight. Looks like it is pretty good. Okay. Okay. Let me look at that real fast. It's perfect enough. Doesn't have to be like perfect. Okay, so I thought before we do the image, we'll let this dry a little bit and we'll put the ribbon down. Not ribbon, the lace. But I'm going to put some fray check. It's made to stop fraying. It's by Eileen's. And let me find a scrap something. Need to scrap something so I can squeeze this out. Let me find something. Just a moment. Okay, I always like to just squeeze some on a piece of paper or a little scrap, and then dip my ribbon edges. Can you see me there? Sorry, ladies. Let's move, or any guys that might be out there. And to just dip it in. Now, it will leave a little bit of a shiny look, but that's okay. That doesn't bother me. I'd rather it do that than be, you know, fraying all the ends off. It would just look really shabby. I'm not saying that you wouldn't get some of that, because I don't know how it would be long term. But I've used it on ribbons before and it's lasted, so I think that would save the day. Okay, so done with that. Now, got to look here and see which side. Let me look under the light. Which side? This is the side we want. Right here. Now, I'm going to flip it over. And I'm just going to run the smallest amount. I say that every time. Somehow the Fabri-Tac just makes a liar out of me. It just does its own thing. But I'm going to try to just run a little bit of Fabri-Tac, like one little strip down the end. Yay, I think I did it. Really could use some tweezers. I don't ever use these, but I'll see if I can get them to open. They're different than what I use on my other things. But I'm trying not to get it too... Okay. There we go. Now we're going to make it look like there's one hanging over. Pull it out. Oops. These tweezers did not want to let go. Hope my head's not in the way, ladies. Let's see. Let's see, this one is, this is the thing about this thin lace like this. It wants to just go everywhere. Now, it acts like this isn't enough glue on there. So I'm going to put a little bit more on this end. Maybe it's just the very end that needs it. Okay. There we go. That's better. Just enough yellow. It's really kind of an orangey yellow. There we go. Let's make sure that's straight. It's straight enough. I'll say what I always say. It's homemade, and we shouldn't expect it to be perfect. I think what we'll do is, before we put the image down, is go ahead and put this rickrack at the top. And some of you might be saying, oh no, don't put the rickrack. But I looked at this all evening. I kind of worked in my space in here all evening trying to decide how I wanted to do this cover. And there was numerous ways that I could do it, but none of them spoke to me like this one does. So, since it speaks, I have to obey. So I'm bring it down just a little bit, because I do have to see where I'm putting it here. On the burlap. Man, I almost set that down perfect. What's up with that? You want to line it up and then make it as straight as you can. There we go. Now, what I would call our base is already down. And we need to move on to the image. Now, like I said, the image will cover up any glue seepage. Want to bring it over as far as you can. It's okay if a little bit of, the muslin or the fabric or the ribbon shows on the right side of this. The main thing is I want my rickrack to show at the top. Okay. Here we go. Gonna put on the main image. Get your corners. Just kind of work your way out from your corners is what I do when I want to make sure I get the edges. Okay. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. I think it's supposed to be cooler today. I don't know if it can ever be cool enough for me. Super hot-natured. My daughter and her husband were here last night. He said it was like a blizzard in my living room. I'm like, I'm sorry, here's blankets. I always offer them blankets because I know if I offer to turn it down, I will be like sweating in 5 minutes. Okay, let's see if that looks right. Just slightly. What do you think, guys? Do you like this cover? If you do, or don't, or if you would have done it different, let me know in the comments below, because maybe there's a much better way to do it than I just did. And but I like to do things different. So we've got everything on here except the leaves, and that's going to be our dimension. I'm going to kind of play with them and decide what way I like them. Of course, you always have to turn one to the right or one to the left. And that's just how they'll look better. And maybe one upside down. No, I don't like that one. Maybe just kind of to its side. I think I like that. Okay, well, let's do that. No turning back now. Because this is a short video, I'm going to do another video when I'm done here. And I think I have one more video before we start getting papers together to see what we want to use in this book. And basically, we're going to use fall colors like we would for, like we did with the sunflowers. But trying to steer more in the direction of, I got a little bit of glue seeping out. I wear glue all over me, my arms, my hands, my fingers for sure. I just kind of wipe it off on myself. I'll get to it later. I just didn't want any big globs sticking out. Okay, now I'm going to go down to the brown leaf. Oh, wait a minute. Do we like that side? Or do we like this side? I really like that side, mostly because it's got two tones to it. Let's do that. Make sure you get some on the stem and make sure it's not pulling. Like pulling on, like puddles is going to be too much glue, and you know you're going to get seepage at that point. So I'm going to bring this one out just a little bit and a little bit up. The reason why is because I don't want them to look lined up. And so this way they won't. Okay. All right, there's leaf number 2, and we got the last leaf here to go. All right. Nope, this is the wrong side. This is the side to put the glue on. And again, just, you know, enough to cover it. Okay. I think I'm going to let it overlap a little bit onto the image. I'm going to hold it down for a second. Let me look at that. Yeah, see, I don't want them to be perfect. So I feel like they're not in this sense. I think I'm going to put a couple things. I want to outline, but I don't want to outline with black. I think I'll see if I outline with gold, maybe. I don't have any thin brown pens on my desk, believe it or not. Well, wait a minute. Maybe I do. No, is that black? Nope, that's brown. But let's test it because I don't want to take a chance. We'll test it on here. It's definitely brown. We have these words that were actually already printed on the image, and excuse me, I wanted them to stand out more, so I'm just gonna do a straight line. I'll do all my straight lines first, and then I'm gonna do this kind of cattywampus. It's alright if a little bit of the white shows underneath. In other words, if you don't get it straight. Because I usually will go back and do it twice and make it look messy on purpose so that it covers any imperfections. See, just like that. Now I'm going to go down. I think it just makes it pop a little bit better by doing this. I am one of those people that like to doodle it and make it look more settled. Okay. Bring it down. Second time across. Now you may look at it and decide you don't see a change, but here, sitting in front of it, you can see that it's popping much better. And is it perfect? No. But I like it better. Like I just got that corner just kind of, it's all right now, see? Perfect. Now, we've got everything glued down, I believe. I'm thinking we'll have our hitch post here as close as we can. Now let's fold the book and see what it looks like. Now it's going to look like it's to the left because we want to put a hitch post here or something. We'll just have to see. Okay, so I think I'm going to show you guys the paper, but I'm not going to cut it. We're just going to let you see it today, and the next time you see it, it will be cut. Since we did the cover, and it's been 41 minutes, you know, actually, I think what I'll do is make this one video, and then we'll go into the second video so we don't feel rushed. Okay, so guys, this is your cover to the Fall Leaves. Just the inside. I love the inside. I've almost gotten to where I challenge myself for the inside as much as anything else. How could I make the inside different? Well, right now it's folding down because it has no paper signatures in it. But this is either going to be 2 or 3 signatures. It depends on how it turns out. But it's a bigger book than the Sunflower book. And the Sunflower book is now in the Etsy shop, just so you know. Okay. All right. Think that turned out good. All right. I guess I'll see you later. I'm going to turn this sideways. I always like to do that so you can get a good angle. And this is our cover on our autumn leaves. And next video, we'll either do paper or a small tutorial. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. I also want to welcome all the new subbies that came from Tracy's Fox's station or channel. And I appreciate it so much that you come over to support me. And I am looking forward to working with Tracy. Okay. Well, then I'm going to let you go. You have a great Saturday. And if you haven't subscribed, I'd love if you could. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.